whoa. All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, never the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace up the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
What is up, everyone? This is Nate the Great coming to you live from the All Sports All Plays Network. I am here today with Mess Around Dave and Jay. How are both of you guys doing?
I'm good, thanks.
Now, we got a couple of topics to go over. We're going to start off, as you can see in the slides, we have the NBA playoff picture, and I wanted to ask, I'm going to go with Jay first. What is your biggest surprise for the NBA?
First of all, what's going on, everybody? How everybody doing tonight? But as far as the NBA, man, there's a few different surprises. One of the biggest ones to me is I don't know if the Utah Jazz being in first is a bigger surprise than the Mavericks being third to last in the West. I haven't figured that one out yet. I've still been balancing those two all day. I mean, because at one point you got Luka, who for a good the whole bubble, Luka they were just praising Luka, and rightfully so. Luka was balling out. And even during this losing streak that the Mavericks are going on, the eye test, Luka's still doing his thing. But I will say, Porzingis was hurt to start the first half. He's starting to get back into it. I don't see them finishing outside of the playoffs. So I will say that's probably the biggest surprise. But Utah being first is huge as well. I mean, we saw the Lakers start. They started off hot. The Clippers, as of late, have been hot. And the Suns, remember, the Suns started out very hot as well. They were first for a few weeks there in the beginning as well. Now they dropped down to 6. So to see the Jazz jump up to first, that's a big thing as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna go next, and I'm gonna say I'm surprised the Cavs are doing this well. After I get that they made the trade, which really helped them out, and we talked a little bit. I want to say it was Jay who said this. You said that the Cavs, with this whole big James Harden trade, you think the Cavs won this? Now I honestly think the Cavs. I did not expect them to be well. They're AC now, but when I made these slides, they were 7th, and I updated it.
Correct.
Yeah, they were 7th, and I updated it. So I was shocked that the Cavs were doing this well. I'm also a little shocked you pointed out with the Dallas Mavericks. Now I wanted to say one thing. KD came back, and then they started going while losing streak until they beat the Atlanta Hawks. So
you talking about Porzingis?
Porzingis, yeah, I said KD. Yeah, Porzingis.
Well, you said they went on a losing streak?
Yes, they went on a big losing streak.
Well, I mean, you gotta think about it. I mean, you're talking about a team that's going out every day. They're playing without. They got one. They really are. They're a team of 2 stars, 2 strong stars, and a bunch of role players. That's really what they are. Mm-hmm. And so your one star, your one major star, is pretty much battered and bruised the whole year. So you're kind of feeding Luka, and Luka is controlling the, controlling the wheel single-handedly at this point. And then you bring back Porzingis, that changes everything. That's a 7-footer that can shoot threes and block shots. So that completely changes the dynamic of your team as a whole. So, yes, of course, it makes it better, but there's still going to be growing pains. So we are seeing that right now. I mean, think about it, Nate. If we look at the bubble, Luka was hurt in the beginning of the bubble. I mean, not Luka. Porzingis was hurt in the beginning of the bubble, and Luka was kicking butt. Porzingis came back. I think they lost 3 in a row. Or 2 in a row.
Yeah.
And then they started winning again. So I expect it.
Now, Nestor, we'll go to you. What is your biggest surprise of the NBA season so far?
A couple things. First, looking at his list, the Miami Heat aren't even in the top 8, but I understand that they've been going through COVID and dealing with a bunch of COVID stuff. So they're going to be fine once they get through all that. And the other one was Dallas not being up there. I mean, like Jay said, they have 2 superstars. I think they need to go trade for either Bradley Beal or someone like Zach LaVine from the Bulls to help them get some more scoring. Those are my 2 biggest surprises from the season so far.
Now, I got to say one thing. Right now, they're 7-14. That's their record. Miami Heat's is 7-14. This season's a lot shorter than a regular NBA season. So I honestly don't think that they'll maybe next year they will. I don't think that this year is going to be their year. I don't think the Mavericks are going to be making the playoffs either.
That's a bold prediction.
Mavericks are also second to last in the West.
No, if that's updated after the games today.
Mm-hmm.
No, but I mean, Nate. I mean, I was at the start of this season. I sat down. I'm looking at the Western Conference, and I'm like, man, how are we going to fit all these teams in the playoffs? There's only 8 positions. Golden State was out the playoffs last year. We know why.
Yeah.
Memphis squeezed in at the end. No, Memphis got knocked out. Memphis got knocked out last year by Portland. But again, Jaren Jackson, Ja Morant was hurt towards that end. And then who else do we have? The Suns weren't in there, and they improved a lot. So I'm looking at 3 teams right there, right off the bat. I'm like, how are they going to fit in? And then remember, last year Houston was in there, Dallas was in there, San Antonio. That's another team that's not right here. That
San Antonio. So correction, San Antonio made the bubble, but they didn't actually make the playoffs.
Correct. However, when you look at the playoff list, you expect to see San Antonio. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, man, there's a lot of teams, and San Antonio's no slouch. There's no slouch whatsoever. So I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, how are they going to fit this in there? But the Warriors squeezing in there says a lot about Steph Curry, man. The Warriors squeezing in there right now. I mean, the Trailblazers, they got a good squad. I don't understand how they're always 7th, 8th, 9th. And Memphis is surprising as well, especially without Jaren Jackson. He's still hurt. Valanciunas is hurt. So it's surprising to see them at 5th without those guys.
And I bring up the point earlier. We've passed the halfway point in the NBA season. The Dallas Mavericks, they actually have more losses in the NBA in their season so far than the games that they have remaining. So I don't think
how many games are going to be this year?
They have adding it all up, well, they have 14 losses, and the games that they have remaining are 13. So I want to say 40 something.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I'm looking at the playoff bracket right now.
Let me double check. Hold on. I gotta double check that.
And Minnesota is the same way. They have more losses than games they have remaining. Same with Detroit.
Yeah. I was looking at that too.
So now we get. I'm just looking at some of these comments. Biggest surprise over the Raptors. Bulls, Heat, and Wizards. If they had a defensive guy, one more person that can make be a better scorer, they can shock some teams, hanging with every team this year. Speaking of the Raptors,
Put that back up. Put that comment back up. My bad.
Speaking of bigger surprise over the Raptors, Bulls, Heat, Wizards, if they had a defensive guy, one more person that can be a scorer, they can shock some teams, hanging with every team this year.
I agree.
Yeah,
John, I agree with you. The Knicks have a lot of young guys. Julius Randle's a beast. He controls that paint very well. He rebounds the ball very well. He can score in so many different ways. And it's crazy too, because if you guys remember when Julius Randle came in and he was back in LA, there was so much heat and so much hate put on Julius Randle as he was developing. But he's always had a dynamic offensive arsenal. And he's matured so much as a basketball player over the last couple of years, especially in New York. He's almost unstoppable on offense. He reminds me of Al Horford when you know what I'm saying, he was about to leave Atlanta in the beginning. He was just unstoppable. Al Horford he had so many different dynamic ways of scoring, and he was boring as a player, if you ask me, just because he was just that old guy that came at the court, just walked up the court and shot when he wanted to, and didn't no flash, no, none of that. And Julius Randle's you guys got somebody there. They do need a wing player.
Mm-hmm.
Knox is good, but he's not the answer. To push them over the top, they need to. You know who would be actually nice for them would be Andrew Wiggins.
I can see that.
Someone like that, or maybe I know they've been talking to there's rumors that the Bulls and Knicks might swing a trade to send
Zach.
to send Zach to New York for a handful of picks. And
I don't like that for them.
You don't like that move?
No, because Zach, they're wanting like 3 to 4 picks for Zach.
Yeah.
And that's going to hurt New York for a long time. New York's not good enough to need one player.
I agree with you. I don't think Zach's worth 4 first-round picks. He's a good scorer, but he turns the ball over an awful lot to be that kind of guy.
NBA is not like the NFL, too. The NBA has only 2 rounds for each draft, and NFL has 7.
Oh, yeah.
So draft picks mean, honestly, I think they mean more in the NBA than they do in the NFL.
No. It's rare to get a phenomenon from the draft in the NBA. There's only so many LeBrons and Carmelos. So I think the NFL, there's more. I think the draft picks mean more in the NFL because you could take a guy in the 3rd round and he become a Pro Bowler undercover. You know what I mean? So, but in this particular instance, Nate, I agree because it's New York and they're so beat up that they need everything possible. And it's not going to be a free agent. It's not going to be – nobody wants to go play there. You know? So it's not going to be a free agent. Their draft pick means a lot to them.
And the Knicks have been a team that also has been struggling for years. It's not like the Warriors case, for example, where they were rolling and they made it to finals year after year. Well, I say that for like 4 ish. The Knicks have been struggling year after year. And the Warriors, when I bring the Warriors analogy, they went off and they were last. They were like dead last for 1 year. Where the Knicks,
but they had injuries. They still got the same roster. They still got a championship roster. It's not even the same putting. But I mean, they was talking for a while about Wiggins being moved, and that wouldn't be a bad spot for him. But who would you? I mean, would you give up Knox? Mess around? Would you give up Knox for some picks for Wiggins?
I would, only because I think Knox is the kind of guy that needs to change the scenery. He obviously doesn't fit in with New York and what they do. So I think flipping him, get him out of there, give him a chance to succeed and show what he can do somewhere else.
Now, 2 points, 2 good points by John Shug. What about a trade for Bradley Beal? I know we covered this a lot.
In New York?
Bradley Beal in New York, but
tell me what you think.
Can you go in my room?
I don't think so. I think that Bradley Beal, if I were the Nuggets or if I were the Heat, I think they should call up, but I don't think Nick should.
I'm gonna tell you like this. Bradley Beal, if we're gonna send him to New York, he might as well stay in Washington. Because it's the same thing. It's the same freaking thing. And honestly, Washington, I would rather stay there because they got a better start. At least they got Russ. I mean, New York, it'll be you and Julius. And that's not enough in the East. That's not enough. You got mini Oscar Robinson in yourself. And you're going to go mess with Julius? I honestly think that's a horrible trade.
And now he also says 2020 to 2021, Levine will earn a base salary cap of 9.
I like where Suggs' head is at, Mister. That's the problem with Levine as well, bro. Let him have an injury. Let anything happen. You got $20 million of dead money. I think Chicago hoarded fool's gold. I think that they should have traded him 2 years ago when the market was. Remember when the market was super hot for Levine?
Yeah. Right.
Remember the market was every sports show was Levine trade, Levine, get Levine out of there. Look at Levine flying through there. The market it's dropped. And they held too long. They gotta sit on this one. If I'm New York, I'm not bailing them out.
I'm with you. I wouldn't do it either just because of Levine's cap and he doesn't play defense. He turns the ball over too much. He can't play defense, you're right. And he turns the ball over too much. Yeah, he scores because he has to. He's the best player on that team, so he gets some high volume of shots. So of course he's gonna average 26 a game on a bad Bulls team. So
there was a rumor the other day talking about Lonzo Ball going over here to Chicago. And honestly, Lonzo Ball would do the same freaking stats as Levine if they switch spots. Player for player. And I don't like Lonzo that much, man. And I just think that him being in that position and with the way the team runs, and like you said, mess around that he's the best player on the team. And I think Lonzo switching spots with Levine, he'd be the best player on the team too.
He probably would. I'm not really sold on Lonzo, though. I've never really been a big Lonzo Ball fan. But I will say he's a better defensive player for Levine, so it'd be a good deal for Chicago because they get a guy that can handle the ball, make plays, not turn the ball over, and play solid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm not saying Lonzo. I'm not a Lonzo fan at all. I'm not saying Lonzo's better than Levine. I think he would shine better than Levine in that position, though. And then vice versa. I think Levine would be better in New Orleans, honestly, because he got more help. He doesn't have to do everything.
Yeah, agreed.
That might be a good trade, guys. I think we just made something up.
Yeah, that's true.
I'd make that trade if I was Chicago. Because like I said, they get a good ball handler, a good point guard. Because Kobe White's
defense.
Yeah, and Kobe White's not that guy. He's more of an off-ball guy. I don't think he's an elite point guard yet.
I mean, at this point, you let Kobe White learn from Lonzo, come off the bench. When you're ready for him to come up to start, move Lonzo to the 2.
True.
I mean, he's big enough.
Yeah.
And he plays good enough defense and physical defense enough to where he can hang with some of these, 2s. I mean, obviously you're going to have a problem when he gets on, the Bills and, those guys, Jimmy Butler's, they're a little bit bigger than him and will probably do him down low. But by that time, hopefully you helped him out.
I just wouldn't want Ball because all the baggage that comes with him, his dad and that whole headache. And, it's a mess with that guy.
Nah, Lonzo's Cinderella now. His brother's in the league, and his brother's doing better than him. Lonzo's Cinderella now.
That's true.
Actually, Leangelo, he I don't know. Oh, he need to do something. He goes, his dad gonna change his name. Huh?
I don't know much about D'Angelo.
Leangelo?
Yeah, Leangelo.
None of us do, because he's not on that team.
All right, so let's move on and on to the next topic. NFL free agents. Now, I'm going to start off. We're going to go and mess around first because the first guy I have in mind, if you were the Chicago Bears, would you keep Robinson?
I would love to keep Robinson, but the problem is Chicago's like $10 million over the cap or $20 million over. So they don't really have the room to sign him. So I think they're going to let him go. And he'll probably go to somewhere like Miami. I could see him signing there. Or another team needs a receiver like I don't know. I could even see him going to like Pittsburgh to replace Juju if they don't bring him back. But I don't see Chicago getting Robinson back as much as I'd like them to re-sign him.
Now,
and Robinson might not want to go back there because they have no quarterback, and he's played without a quarterback for years. He probably wants to get to a team that has a quarterback.
That's the problem. What you hit, the way you started it was dead on. They're way over the cap. They have quarterback issues. They have 2 quarterbacks that they're paying entirely too much money for, as a pair. It's not like when they had Grossman and
Orton,
because they together they didn't make as much as some of the starting quarterbacks in the league. No, these guys are making way too much money to be toggling back and forth. You gotta make a decision too, because isn't Mitch a free agent?
He is, yeah.
So now you got to make a decision with Mitch. If you sign Mitch, that means you really are paying way too much money for your quarterback position because you just gave him a brand new deal. So it's going to be up for what he was. I agree with you. Allen ain't coming back.
Honestly, I think that I don't think Allen Robinson is going back. And if I were the Chicago Bears, I would cut Nick Foles. I mean, because
Excuse me?
Nick Foles, I would cut Nick Foles.
No, this ain't about you. This is about because I mean, outside looking in, you're right. But this is about the Bears, man. They made horrible moves to get in this position, and all last year they had a chance. If we all knew this was coming, this day was coming. They had a chance last year to make another move, and they didn't. They just let the. It's a bad position to be in.
We've been starved for a quarterback for as long as I've been a Bears fan, 30 plus years. So we've never had a quarterback, and that's the problem. They never get it right. They draft these guys. They get it wrong. Back in, when they drafted Trubisky, they screwed up there. They should have taken Watson or Mahomes. So,
but Nate, I agree that
Yeah.
they should cut him, but it's going to be bad. Like, they could have got something for Foles.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you could trade them. That's true. But they signed him onto a massive contract as a backup QB. I mean, the Jaguars did the same thing, but
who, Minshew?
No. With Nick Foles, when
originally, yeah. But I mean, so is Nick Foles the new Fitzpatrick in the making?
He's not good enough to be a Fitzpatrick. He's only played good in one place, and that's Philadelphia. I mean, let's be honest. He's played trash everywhere else he's been but there. And he only had that one good season, or he had a good season when Chip Kelly was there. He had a really good season then. And then he had the run to the Super Bowl. But other than that,
remember he had that good year that got Kevin Cobb sit off too.
Right. So he's had a few good seasons, but he's a backup. He's nothing more than that. The guy that can, if he gets hot, yeah, he's great, but he doesn't get hot to really be paid all that money he's getting.
But isn't that like the exact description of Fitzpatrick?
True, you're right.
Isn't that like the exact
Fitzpatrick? You're right.
Fitzpatrick.
It does fit Fitzpatrick. You're right.
Like, because if you think about Fitzpatrick's career, he started off as a starter. He struggled. He bounced around. He did good a couple of games here, did good a couple of games here, and then all of a sudden, I'm a backup. He come in and win 6 straight and go to the playoffs or some, and that's how he's been.
You're right. You're totally right. You got me on that one.
Because I mean, that's what Nick Foles is kind of like showing us, bro. He doesn't put together a whole season.
He never has, really. No.
Yeah.
Even his good years.
Yeah.
And then he comes in and he does spurts. 3-4 great games. One horrible. He get benched again.
The Mika Fitzpatrick and the Mika Fitz tragic. Now, if I were Allen Robinson, let's say he's let go, if he has the choice to go over to a team, I would go to a team that has a great quarterback, but doesn't have a very good wide receiver.
Like who?
Maybe the Raiders.
Well, if the Raiders pull off this 3-team trade stuff they've been talking about the last few days, boy, oh boy, oh boy. I mean, if Deshaun Watson ends up in Vegas, it's a wrap. No, seriously. I mean, that team is – they weren't bad this year.
Yeah, they weren't, but there were a couple of questionable calls. But that's not on the – it's on the coach, though, but not the guy, quarterback.
But a lot of those calls were like the personnel. Like, they don't have the personnel for a lot of the things they needed to do at the times that they had those issues. I think if you take the same team that we watched this last year and you replace Carr and Watson, 1-for-1. That team is in the playoffs.
For sure. And definitely, they did definitely be in the playoffs with Watson. I mean, the guy, look what he did without a receiver. He led the league in passing yards this year. It's insane.
He led the league.
Do you see Fuller as a top tier?
What's that?
Missed your question.
Do you see Fuller as a top tier wide receiver?
Not anymore.
No.
Maybe way
He's
back
like
then.
a slot guy. He's good in the slot. He can go deep, get vertical. He's a solid number 2.
So he was reaping the benefits the whole time with DeAndre.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I agree. We see it this year.
Yeah.
Now I got a question for you guys. Because we're talking about receivers, so let's stay with the receiver group. We already talked about Fuller. We talked about Allen. Well, let's not stay with it. Now let's switch over to the quarterbacks. Since they're talking about who throws to him. I mean, does Dak stay in? If Dak stays, do they re-sign Dalton?
If Dak stays, they resign Dalton. I think they do because they have to have a backup in case Dak goes down again. I'm not saying Dalton's a good backup, but he's better than most of the guys in the league.
Yeah,
he's
true.
A backup. He played pretty good for him down the stretch. He's a lot. Go ahead.
Unless you're we don't expect our backups to play a lot. So for Andy to come in and play as many games as he had and really command the team, because after about game number 3 or 4, he didn't look like a backup. It just looked like a bad team.
Right. He's definitely better than Danucci. I think.
Yeah. I think any quarterback out there is probably better than Danucci.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I also seen
maybe Nathan Peterman.
I also seen because this is going to change the scope of everything depending on what happens with Watson. But I also seen Watson getting traded to Cleveland for Odell and Baker.
You think the Browns would give up on Mayfield this early?
I can see it.
I think the Browns are so desperate for life. They'll do anything.
I mean, the only negative thing about the trade is you wouldn't see any Baker Mayfield Cleveland Browns State Farm commercials anymore.
Yeah. I don't think they get rid of Baker. I think they're happy with Baker and they're going to ride with him. See where he goes.
Without bringing in finances, I don't think they should do it just because Baker's decent, bro. And Baker's decent. He's young. Bringing in finances is absolutely no. Baker Mayfield is going to cost $5 million next year. He's still on a rookie contract.
Ask Jay what he thinks of a 3-team trade with the Vikings, Pats, and Houston. Cousins to the Vikings for Pats to pick up his contract with defensive lineman and a second-round pick. And Vikings turn around and offer Houston 3 first-round picks for Watkins.
I tell you what, bro. If the Vikings get Deshaun Watson, there is trouble in paradise.
Especially in their own division.
Because Cook is ooh, Delvin Cook, he just need a little bit of help. Just this much. He just need this much help. This much. Because, man, that boy's bad. And we saw with Alvin Kamara. Huh?
You have Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson right there. And whew.
Bro, watching what Alvin Kamara did this year, because we saw him last year. Alvin Kamara was coming into his own last year. and Michael Thomas, and they were rolling as an offense. Every single piece of that offense was rolling last year. And this year, having Michael Thomas hurt and seeing Alvin Kamara, the talent he had, actually being able to expand and be the driver of the offense. When I look at Delvin Cook, I see the same thing. I see a very talented guy that right at this moment is having to use way too much of his talent just to get by. And I think once he gets a couple of pieces around him to where he's doing everything natural and he's not overexerting himself on every single play, I think that's a dangerous team. So putting that with Watson, whoa, that is with Thielen too, man.
And really, the only thing you would have to address after that is their defense.
That defense is nice too. They had a bad year.
Not a bad year, but
I mean, did they lose Everson, or they signed him back last year?
Everson Griffin?
Yeah.
I think, if I remember, he signed with the Cowboys, didn't he?
He signed with the Cowboys and then got cut, and he now is with the Lions.
The Lions. I thought he went back to Minnesota after that. I don't know. They need a couple. They've always needed the secondary. They've always needed better help with the secondary. I think if they get something like that, you're right, Nate. They need a couple little pieces, but that offense will be terrific. I mean, look at it this year. They were already put up a heck of points.
Yeah.
Yeah. Their defense, they need to fix that defense and get a couple corners. I know they let their starting corners last free agency sign elsewhere, and they went with the younger. Who knows? Maybe those guys develop and they turn out to be decent corners, and they won't have to worry about it. But you're right. They need, if they get Watson, they're a couple pieces away.
I agree, John. I agree. Defense is right there. No, definitely though. Mess around. They get Watson. I don't even know if it's a couple. They're right there. I mean, honestly, outside of Tampa, what is the NFC? Because Aaron Rodgers, I think we had a bad year in the NFC as far as teams. Seattle came out hot. They died down. And what they were banking on in the beginning was youngsters anyways.
I mean, with that Matthew Stafford trade, the Rams.
What about them?
The quarterback, Matthew Stafford's a way better upgrade than Jared Goff is.
You really think so?
Yeah. Jared Goff was way too inconsistent.
So was Matthew Stafford.
I mean, but Matthew Stafford was put in a bad situation, though.
He didn't really have guys to throw to in Detroit. He had Galladay, and that's it. At least with the Rams, now he's got like Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods if they resign him.
Let's not forget, but this is the same guy that had Joey Galloway. This is the same guy that had Calvin Johnson. This is the same guy that had a few. There's a few of them. And he's thrown for 3,000 yards multiple times in his career with no wide receivers. As everybody says.
He's got weapons now. Look, he's going to probably put up 5 with the Rams with the weapons he has.
They also didn't have a very good defense either.
Hey, John, I named a few people before we even got to that question. So I'm just saying, it's not even about Matthew Stafford having weapons, because Matthew Stafford is a good quarterback. I just don't think he's a winner. And I don't know if you know what I mean by that. Like, he's gonna be good as he wants to. He ain't gonna win.
Yeah. John has a good point. They don't have Lions don't have a good defense, but Rams they do.
I mean, but Matthew Stafford's not a conservative quarterback. Period. Matthew Stafford's not about to go out there and 3-yard dink it. He's about to go throw 20, 15, 30, 35s. Like, he's going for the gustos.
I can see that.
Huh?
I can see that, but I think he's going to put up some numbers. He may not have to put up the numbers that he did in Detroit because he's got a defense he can rely on now.
And
So he
also the
doesn't
running game.
have to swing the ball 40 times a game, 45 times a game to win. Not with that defense he has with the Rams.
They should have kept Todd Gurley.
I mean, but they have. I don't know. Todd Gurley's he's more of a I'm worried more about. He's just not the same with the Rams as he's not the same with the Falcons. I don't think that he.
They were made for each other, and now Todd Gurley's exposed. He's not the same. He's not the same running back he was.
Lions don't have the Rams have Cam Akers, but Lions they don't have anybody for the running game.
They had Abdullah.
What? Mestron, you said something I didn't.
Oh, the Lions have Swift. He could be a decent running back. He's good to catch a pass out of the backfield. And he can run the ball. Give him time. He'll get up there.
And they have Abdullah. Let's not give up on him. He just was hurt the last year, so Abdullah's nice when he's fully healthy.
He was drafted out of Nebraska, right? Abdullah didn't come from Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he was like the best running back since Dane.
Yeah.
And now we've touched. I was just say we touched everybody on this slide actually, except for Von Miller. Do you think he's going to stay with Denver, or do you think he's going to go somewhere else?
He shouldn't stay with Denver. I think he will, though.
I think he's going to.
He will.
Yeah.
What do you mean that you don't think he's going to stay with Denver? If they pull off that Watson trade, then maybe.
Who?
Denver?
No, who were you talking to?
Jay, you said that you don't think he should stay with Denver.
No, I don't think he should. I don't care if you guys get Watson or not.
Really?
Yeah, I agree.
He's done. He's done in Denver. He's done. Dog, when's the last time he played? When's the last time you remember him on the field making a significant change?
2 years ago?
Huh?
2 years ago?
That's my point. It's been 2 years. Let it go. He cost too much money for you guys.
But last year he was hurt.
But it's not about that. It's not about him personally. It's about you guys as an organization. You guys are the bottom of your division. You guys are fighting not even to get out of the bottom of your division. You're just fighting to get out the bottom of the NFL at this point. So
we're not going to be the bottom of the NFL.
You're right there.
You're close.
I would say maybe 20.
Huh?
Maybe 20, but
Nate,
early.
You
20.
guys are the bottom, and this is not a hack on you guys. This is like real life. You guys are the bottom of the NFL, bro. You're the bottom 6 teams. Period.
Bottom 6 teams, even if they pull off the Watson trade.
No, we're not talking about the Watson trade. We're talking about right now.
Right now, with
you guys are bottom 6 teams. It's not a hack. It's not a like a stab at Denver.
You gotta remember though, with Sutton and all those, when we didn't have as many injuries 2 years ago, and we were the second in the division.
But listen, you guys got rid of veterans from then. You replaced them with youngsters. Your receiving core got younger. Your quarterback, as a unit, your quarterback squad is younger. Your running back unit is younger. Like, you guys are young. You guys have gotten younger since then. And I think that keeping Von Miller, first of all, paying that man that much money, unless you're just going to make him a Bronco for life at this point, there's no reason to keep the man, bro. You guys aren't going to the playoffs the next 2 years.
I mean,
Even with Deshaun Watson, you guys ain't going to the playoffs next year.
yeah, I can definitely see that.
Because you guys would have to get into the wild card. You're not going to You're not going to win the division from the Chiefs. You'd have to get into the wild card. I just don't see it happening.
I don't know. That AFC West is too stacked, or the AFC in general is way too stacked for that.
And then the AFC West too, like you were about to say.
I think injuries and us having a bad offensive coordinator was the difference between us going to the playoffs and not.
This year?
This year. Us having a bad offensive coordinator, our entire defense was hurt, like almost walks outside of Bradley Chubb. Our entire defense was hurt at one point. What?
I said, what you think, mess around?
What was the question?
I said, what do you think about? What do you think about their playoff or end results and playoff hopes for the next year or two?
The next year or two, we're talking maybe 5 to 7 years down the line before they even start thinking about playoffs. They're not there yet, and they won't be until that time frame.
I think honestly,
they need to get better. They need to find a quarterback. They got a lot of holes.
Yeah. And Deshaun Watson is not the answer. Deshaun Watson is not the answer for you guys. You guys would have to give up 3 picks. You're going to your future for the next 3 years. And it's not worth it. You have too many holes. Dude, who's Deshaun Watson going to throw to? So now you're going to set up the excuse like we use for Deshaun, like you guys were using for Stafford.
Sutton, and we also had we had rookies last year, and we don't.
But
how much are they going to go? We had rookies last year to throw to. You're right, but if we get rid of maybe throw in Tim Patrick with that trade,
who are you gonna get back? Just Watson.
Yeah, we're gonna get Watson, but we'll throw to Jerry Jeudy.
But Jeudy is not ready. Like, bro, Judy's gonna be a good receiver. You guys got to. But that's my point, though, Nate. That's my point. What was Jeudy? A first-round pick?
Jeudy was a first-round pick, yeah.
Imagine giving up 3 Judys. You giving up 3 Judys for Deshaun. Yeah. It's not worth it. You guys have too many holes.
He has to take all this shit to school. Can you pick it up right now?
No, I think that how do I explain this? Our quarterback and our offensive line, I think that's the only holes if our defense can stay healthy.
I think you spread that money around, Nate. I think you spread that money around. Yeah, a couple other holes too. We ain't even gonna get into them.
Coordinator. And now one last guy. One last guy I wanted to cover before we close this out. And Super Bowl picks as well. Do you see Mike Evans going anywhere, or do you think he's going to stick with Tampa Bay?
Without the Super Bowl being any type of bearing on this, I think Mike Evans leaves. Either Mike Evans leaves or Tampa ties their hands behind their back for the next 4 years. Because Mike Evans, to me, is the top 5 receiver in the league. He's just not getting paid like it. And he should be. So, yeah, he leaves, or you're going to see a really ginormous bag for Mike Evans. Now, with the Super Bowl included, if he goes off in the Super Bowl, oh my goodness, he's probably gonna be he's gonna break the record, biggest contract ever.
Next round.
You know what's funny about Mike Evans is every fantasy football draft I've ever been in, people forget about this guy, and he doesn't get drafted until like the 10th
Fifth
to
round.
14th round. People forget how good this guy is. Like, it's crazy. But I don't know. I don't see him leaving Tampa Bay. I don't see them getting rid of him because
I don't.
he is their guy. He's their number one receiver. So unless they can find someone to replace the production that he has, they would have to get at least a one, maybe 2 ones for him for it to be worth letting
Isn't
him
he a
go.
free agent?
Is he a free agent?
I want to say he. I want to say he is.
Double
Well, if
check
he's a
that.
free agent, they're definitely going to tag him. I think they tag him.
You should.
They're not going to let him walk. They're
You
going
can
to
save
tag
money
him.
by tagging him.
If he doesn't want to be there, they're going to tag him. They're going to trade him for a first round pick. They're not going to let him walk for nothing. But I think they tag him. They work out a deal and he stays.
No, he's not a free agent.
Oh,
Okay.
He's
the way when you ask the
he's
question, I
linked to the
assume that
Bucks
automatically.
through the 2023 season
So why would you even ask us about him then? That's just weird.
because you said about the whole New England thing, and I've heard some people in the comments.
Oh, about Mike Evans going to New England?
Yeah,
No. The only way Mike Evans goes to New England, there's no way for Mike Evans. I don't think Tampa Bay would make a trade with New England again. Like, I don't think Tampa Bay would trade with New England just for the principles.
Like I said, I don't think they get rid of Evans.
Especially not with a trade.
No, not at all.
and now the last.
So yeah, back to the big ball game this weekend. You know, we got Mr. Reliable, I'm gonna call him. Mr. I'm always here when you don't expect it. Versus Mr. Spectacular, we're gonna call him. So I'm gonna start with you, Nate. I want Super Bowl prediction. I want game-ending score, and I want to know why you doing it.
I feel like this is going to be a very, very close game, and I also think it's going to be a very high-scoring game.
Okay.
Not as high as what Ace said in Real Talk earlier,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm still going to go pretty high. I think the Chiefs will win off of a last-second field goal. 38 Chiefs, 35 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They have the offensive firepower. Now Chiefs are struggling at piece in the run defense, and Bucks do have Leonard Fournette there, but they throughout most of the season they have been definitely keeping games once outside of last week, which was a shocker. They've been definitely keeping games within a one-score difference. One-score win. So I'm going to go Chiefs 38, Bucks 35.
Okay. Who's your MVP of the Super Bowl?
Super Bowl MVP, I'm going to go with Kelsey.
Kelsey?
Travis Kelsey.
Hey, that's not a bad pick. Mess around. I want to know
Okay.
pick. I need to score. I need to know why.
My pick, Kansas City. My score, 42-31.
Okay.
I think Kansas City pulls away in the end. Tyreek Hill breaks loose in the fourth, and they pull away in the fourth. And my MVP, Tyreek Hill.
Okay. It's funny because we're all right around the same area as far as scoring. Because I got them 44-42 Chiefs. I got Chiefs coming back. I got Brady going up in the third, holding it all the way through the fourth. Well, not all the way through, but going up big in the third, and then the Chiefs coming back. And John, I like your picks. Like I said,
Yes.
Mike Evans is the guy in Tampa. If he doesn't overperform, I don't know if they beat the Chiefs. I don't know if they have the weapons to beat the Chiefs.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I got 44-42 Chiefs. Honestly, guys, I don't think the Chiefs win the Super Bowl and Patrick Mahomes doesn't get back-to-back MVPs.
I could see that, but I think Tyreek has a big game, and I think he's
agree.
making a difference.
I totally agree. I just think that Patrick Mahomes is just that guy. He's just that guy that they're gonna give it to.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing right now because I love this comment.
Which one?
I'm not taking a shower.
Brandon always comments all the time. Come on, Brandon.
That's so true. Hey, Brandon, according to those fans, Dak Prescott's gonna win the MVP.
Only on Madden football.
Right. No, but I mean, honestly, man, I'm hoping to see a really good game. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. Bruce Arians, I'm really upset at Bruce. That was my guy. My BA was the man over here in Arizona. So, I'm upset with Bruce. You're gonna leave us like this, go over there and go to the Super Bowl like that. We upset with you. And they got Todd Bowles over there, our defensive coordinator. They got our whole coaching staff is over there in Tampa. So I'm very upset about that. I don't think they're gonna win. But I'm just hoping for a good game.
I'm hoping for a good one too. Who wants to watch a blowout?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
Even the emotional roller coaster that Atlanta gave us, because I was ready to turn the Super Bowl off.
You talk about the 28-3 game?
Yeah, when it came back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a funny story about that. I was at a Super Bowl party, and everybody there was going for the Falcons. I was the only one there going for the Patriots. It's 28-3, and they're all giving me crap. I'm like, don't worry, Tom's got this. They're coming back, and they're gonna win. Oh no, they're not. And then they came back, went to overtime. I'm like, if the Patriots win the coin toss, the Falcons aren't getting the ball back. This game's over. Tommy giving that ball back, and that's exactly what happened. But I had everybody so mad with that game. It was awesome. Best time of my life, and I'm not a Patriots fan.
I bet.
Yeah, I remember that year. I said, my math teacher said you'll get extra credit if you predict the Super Bowl correctly. It's the only one that picked the Patriots. Only one, and there were 24 of us.
Hey, it happens, man. Let the best man win. But with that being said, it was my pleasure messing around doing a show with you finally. We might have to have you on more often. But for me, mess around, Nate and everybody else here at ASAP, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Tune in to us again tomorrow. We always have shows here on the network. We do sports all day, every day. And we're always here for you guys. So tune in. Make sure not to miss this Super Bowl weekend. And we'll see you guys next week.
Especially on Sunday. Tune in to Sunday.
Did we ever do the ad?
We have one ad, actually, that we're supposed to do, but we haven't done it. If you are like John Shrugs out there commenting and you're not part of the network, so sorry, Brandon, then you can win a free t-shirt. All you have to do is just like, comment, and share the show. This month, February, the shortest month of the year. It's probably the easiest way to win a free t-shirt, and especially this month, shortest month of the year.
But, some people are shy, Nate. And if they don't want to comment, they don't want to get in it, they don't want me or mess around or you to bring their name up on the big screen here, that's fine. $14.99 plus shipping and handling, and we'll send one quite your size right to your house. Just give us send any of us a DM or Make a comment in here. I know y'all don't want to make a comment, but make a comment in here. We'll get you guys your shirt.
Yeah, and that's all I have this mess around. Jay and myself signing out. See you guys next week.
Thanks for having me on the show, guys.
Always, man.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. Great eye in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics never the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace up the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.